Hello, Madam Olubumi.
Hello, good evening, sir.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm good. How was your week? Or how is your week going?
Well, going on well. We bless God. And how is fasting going?
We do. We push up. They push
Well,
up. They push up. Madam Oluwaseyi wouldn't be coming to class today. She said she has to do something.
okay.
She's in class now. I thought she said she just joined. I thought she said she wasn't coming. Madam, I was just about saying Madam Oluwaseyi no go come class today. And then at that moment, I saw you come online. Okay, maybe she wants to be in listening mode. I don't know. Anyway, Madam Olubumi, did
Yes,
you
sir.
do our assignment?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
She said what?
I read the managed communications, and I also read engaged stakeholders. Is it read or watched? Okay, watched.
Okay.
I watched the video.
You watched
the video
for the whole of did you watch for the whole of communications management or just manage communications?
I watched for the whole of managed communications now.
No, communications management. Have you managed communications?
Managed communications.
Oh, not communications management.
The
You
video,
were
the
told to
video.
watch communications management. Huh?
Yes, I watched it, the
You were told
video.
to watch communications management. Under communications management, you have plan communications management. Abi, you didn't watch that part too.
Okay, plan communication management. Yeah,
You didn't watch that part.
I did.
I thought you said you watched only manage communications.
No, I watched the whole of communication.
That's good. That's good. Okay, anyway, let's just jump right in because we're out of time. And it's looking like now only you are come today. Okay, so let's proceed now with boom, boom, boom. Create project artifacts. We'll try to be fast now because I want to believe that by now you should be already mega familiar with all with the
Engage
flow,
stakeholders.
with the enablers, with the deliverables. Sorry, with the enablers, deliverables, tools, with the concepts, with the guidelines, all these things we should be familiar. So now let's just move. Okay.
Okay.
So now create project artifacts. We've come across the word artifacts before. And the definition we gave for artifact is that it's a project document. That's essentially what it is. It's a document that is created as a result of something else on the project. When you carry something out, you create a document. That document is generally regarded as an artifact. So under the create project artifacts task, you have three enablers, which is determine the requirements for managing artifacts. Two is validate that the project information is kept up to date and accessible. Is sorry, kept up to date and accessible. Three, continually assess effectiveness of the management of the project artifacts. If you look at the first one, we're talking about requirements. For different projects, there will be different requirements. There are some particular projects that have some peculiarities about how they want artifacts to be managed. So understand those peculiarities and get them done. You want to validate that the information is kept up to date and accessible. Remember what we discussed under configuration management, wherein we said as part of you managing a project, you want to ensure that you want all your documents to be up to date and everybody is talking to the up-to-date version of everything that you are running, everything that you are doing. Then continually assess. Of course, it's one thing to update. It's another thing to continuously look for gaps and ensure you are updating and ensure you are reviewing, monitoring your artifacts to ensure that it is doing its relevance is still there, you know. So project artifact is essentially any document related to management of a project, any document. So the project team will create and maintain many artifacts during the lifetime of a project. Madam Olubumi, can you tell me some of the project artifacts that come to your head?
Project artifact.
Yes.
Okay, can we say, how about project charter?
That's one. Tell me two more.
Scope baseline.
Is scope baseline a document?
Is it not a document?
Scope baseline is a combination of documents. It's not a document.
Okay. Lessons learned or lessons learned register.
Data. Yes, that's an artifact. Yeah, in fact, I'm happy you're able to distinguish between lessons learned and lessons learned register. That's good. That's good. It shows that you have been reading. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Yes. Yeah. Madam Bumi, somebody told me something now. When I said
What?
you have been reading, somebody in the office said, and she has been watching videos too.
Yeah, I've been watching.
Uh-huh. So I agree. It's mark a private.
Èmi kọ́ ni mò ń
That's
máàkì ẹ o.
good. Keep it
Ẹ̀yin lẹ
up.
ń máàkì, èmi kọ́ mò ń máàkì o.
No. As what I mean is that it's well done. That's what I just mean.
Okay, thank you,
Mhm.
sir.
That's good. Okay, so where are we now? So we said that the
Um,
project team will create and maintain many artifacts during a lifetime of a project. You do this to allow the construction of the history of the project and to the benefit of other projects. Don't forget that when um, we're always talking about knowledge management. So in the name of managing knowledge of a project, you want to manage how you write your documents and artifacts. One of the enablers is that you want to maintain, you want to continuously review the effectiveness. Because you need to do that, that is why we regard the artifact as a living document. What do we mean when it's a living document? It's a document that you always want to check, you always want
okay.
to review, you always want to update, you always want it to reflect changes in the project requirements and in the project scope. So what you can see here is just an overview of some of the numerous artifacts that you have. Business case, acceptance criteria, project charter, project management plan. Okay, Madam Olubumi, you can see here your scope baseline is written here. Can you see it?
Oh, okay. Scope baseline.
Yes, it is written here. But what I understand from it's being written here is that it is written as like a collection of what it contains. So when you see scope baseline here, you should think of your work breakdown structure. You should think of your work breakdown structure dictionary. You should think of your project
The
scope
work
statement
package.
or your project scope. You should
The
think
work
of
package. Work package.
yes, your work packages, yes. So those are those things that come together to form your scope baseline. Hmm? So that's
Okay.
that. And then under the agile, you have your product backlog. I don't believe that by now we know what product backlog is. You have your sprint backlog, your product increment, product roadmap. We discussed that last week. Product vision statement, release plan. All of these things are documents that you use to run the project. Now, configuration management. Yes, we discussed it earlier. Anytime you talk of configuration management, always remember what? Versioning, revisioning, versioning, revisioning. So your configuration management is whatever tool that is used to manage changes to the product or the service, as well as changes to documents. So your designs, your plans, your specification documents, your this, your that, all of those things, how to keep them up to date, how to ensure everybody is talking to the right version. That is what we mean by configuration management. So it is used to control product iterations. It is used to ensure that product specifications are current. It is used to control the steps for reviewing and approving product prototypes, testing standards, and drawings and blueprints. So your configuration management plan is just whatever you are using to get it done. Procedures, tasks, processes used to track project artifacts and control and monitor changes to these artifacts. Now, version control. Version control is a core, core feature. Is a core feature of your configuration management system. So your version control is any system that records changes to a file in a way that allows you to retrieve previous changes made to it. If you use Google Doc or Google Sheets, you would notice that when you make, if I, even if ordinary Microsoft Word, you would realize that you can roll back, you can do Control Z. Abi no be so, you can always do Control Z, you can do
Oh,
Control something. So that's what is meant by a version control system. Well,
okay.
that's a mild form of version control. If you want to see a real form of version control, look at Google Doc online, such
Okay.
that it will tell you this document was edited on this date, it was also edited on this date, it was also edited on this date. And each of those editions, you can view them. And when you view them, you can decide to roll back to that edition. Hmm?
Okay.
Okay, so each time a file is updated, it is automatically saved and then given a new version number. The version control system can contain a timestamp, a date and timestamp, and the name of the user who made the changes, providing a digital trail, paper trail of document history. A robust project management system will contain version control for important artifacts, such as, interesting point, such as your project management plan, such as your subsidiary project management plans, your scope, and then other documents. Interesting. I just learned an important thing there. Okay. Distribution of your artifacts. When you have artifacts, it necessarily, its usefulness comes from its usefulness comes from what's the word? Its usefulness comes from being used. And for it to be
Oh,
used, it needs to flow. It needs to be in the hands of people who would use them. You cannot write a document for the team and then you keep it in your hand. Then what's the point? It's not useful. So artifacts should be stored in a location that is accessible to the people who use them. The system should be manageable, given the complexity of the project. Hmm. Okay. The The system should be manageable given the complexity of the project. What this means essentially is that you should always put a system of storage or distribution of artifacts. Whatever system you want to use should match the cumbersomeness, the complexity of the project you are dealing with. Of course, as much as possible, you want to make it as simple as possible. Hmm? So cloud-based document
Hmm.
storage and retrieval systems are appropriate for large projects, especially where team members are geographically distributed. If you've used Google Doc, Google Sheet, Google this, you understand this very easily. Now, with all these things, you are able to even what's the word? You are able to even collaboratively write a document. You are updating page one, somebody else is updating page two, that kind of thing. In fact, you might
Hmm.
even be updating the same page at the same time. So
Hmm.
this capability is useful for you when you are managing a project, especially for a lot of team building activities that require you to, like, look at what you are doing in class now. Me, I'm here in Ibadan. Madam Lubumi is somewhere in China. Mohammed is in
Hmm.
Lagos. Madam Oluwase is maybe in Lagos or something. And then we can, in fact, if you open your Zoom now, you can realize that you notice that you can even share annotation. You can annotate and you'll be writing on the screen, and
Okay.
you don't be doing all of these things as part of collaboratively writing documents, reviewing designs, reviewing different things. So features of the off-the-shelf systems might include built-in version control, document check-in, check-out. Interesting. User-based document security, automatic email notification to specific users when a document is created or edited. Hmm. Those are interesting features of a document management system. The system chosen to distribute project artifacts should be based on the size and complexity of the project. So how do you manage artifacts? An effective archive management system should include things like, you see all these things that they are talking about. Madam Olubumi, you could be
Uh,
called upon as a consultant to come and help Ministry of Health in managing a bidding process for a document management system.
hmm.
What requirements would you insist upon? These are some of the things we are discussing now. Your
Hmm.
documents are artifacts on whatever project or whatever operations you are working on. So these are some key features that you want to have in your system. We have discussed some of these things: security, collaborativeness, version control, and many other things. The notification. So here now, we're talking of there should be a way to produce and control documents without unnecessary administrative overhead. There should be standardized formats and templates. That's a very important one. Standardized formats and templates. A structured process for the review and documentation and approval of documents. Version control and security. Timely distribution of documents. Okay, Mr. Muhammad, are you there? Is Mr. Muhammad with us? We have not been doing enough quizzes in classroom. Is Mr. Muhammad with us? Hello, Mr. Muhammad. Ah, that's serious. Okay, Madam Olubumi, since
Uh,
now only you are back on, do you mind reading this to us?
which one? Okay. Guidelines to continually assess the effectiveness of management of project artifacts. One, use an appropriate degree of configuration management for your project. Two, follow any organizational procedures regarding project management documentation. Three, develop an archive management system that is of appropriate size and complexity for your project. Pay particular attention to these issues. One, types of documents needed and their purpose. Two, templates to facilitate document creation. Three, authors, reviewers, and approvers of documents. Then four, implement version control of documents. So you will be able to reconstruct changes and revert to an earlier version if necessary.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so at this point, we have come to another process, which is, or another task, which is manage project changes. manage project changes. Okay, what does it mean to manage project changes? Number one is, in managing project changes, you need to first of all have the right mindset for change. You need to anticipate and embrace the need for change, because projects are brought about as a result of a need for change, and the need for change itself will be changing. So the most important thing is that you want to achieve value, and the definition of value sometimes might be changing, and definition of how you will achieve value sometimes would also be changing. So change in itself is not a bad thing. Change in itself is not a bad thing. What is a bad thing is uncontrolled changing. What is a bad thing is when change just happens in a way that is not coordinated, in a way that is just haphazard, in a way that is just haphazard. Okay? So, but so because we don't want change to be haphazard, we need to now define a strategy to handle change. It shouldn't just be anyhow, just go there, do it anyhow. There should be a strategy. How do you handle change? Who receives? Who documents? Who pushes? Who does this? Who does that? Who approves? Who are those who approve? Who are those who do this? Who are those who do that? You know, get that right. Okay? Then you execute change management strategy. As part of managing change, you want to execute change management strategy according to the methodology you have chosen. So, and then determine a change response to move the project forward. So here are your deliverables: issue log, risk register, stakeholder register, updated issue log. Madam Olubumi, I have a question for you.
I'm here, I'm listening, sir.
Okay. Why do we need the stakeholder register when we are managing change?
Okay, reason for stakeholder register will be maybe if there is any change in, maybe a stakeholder is joining the team or is leaving the team, there is need to update the stakeholder register. Don't know if I'm right.
Hmm. Well, that's also correct. That's also correct. Another perspective of looking at it is that change is coming from where? A lot of times, change is coming from stakeholder need,
Stakeholder.
stakeholder requirement. So part of managing change is that you want to know who your stakeholders are. You want to know who they are. And then if you look at it as a deliverable, which is more of like an output, you could also look at it from the perspective you mentioned. So what does it mean when we say a change management plan? What is the meaning of a change management plan? A change management plan is a component of your project management plan. What it does is it establishes the system for which you would manage change. The system, the people, the processes, the procedures, the workflow. So by all of these things we are talking about, it establishes the change control board, that is those people involved in helping the project manager, the sponsor, to manage change on the project, to approve or deny. And then it also documents the extent of the authority of the change control board, and then describes how the change control system that is overseen by the change control board, how would this system be implemented. So it answers questions like, who can propose a change? Can it just come from anywhere, or it can be from a particular person? Hmm? Who can propose a change? What exactly even constitutes a change? You want to know what constitutes a change? What is the impact of the change on the project's objectives? What steps are necessary to evaluate the change requests before proposing, before approving or rejecting? When a change request is approved, what project documents must be amended to record the actions necessary to effect the change? How will these actions be monitored to confirm that they have been completed satisfactorily? So what causes change? You could have issues of initial estimates being wrong. Madam Olugumi, if you look at these four items, which one do you think has the highest, is the biggest cause of change on the project?
I think the number
Madam
one,
Olugumi, you don't sleep.
number one, inaccurate initial estimates.
Eh, initial estimates. Okay. 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 Initial estimate, specification changes, new regulation, needs requirement. My mind is looking, well, I think it's A. I also want to go with number one. I also want to go with number one. I also want to go with number one. Yeah. Okay. So change control system is essentially whatever set of processes, whatever set of procedures that is being followed, that you want to follow when you are modifying your project, deliverables, your projects, whatever you're doing on the project, or even documentation, but how these things will be managed and controlled. The description of all of these things is the project. What handles all of this is called the change control system. So change control systems can include forms, tracking methods, processes, approval levels required for authorizing or rejecting requested changes. So your change control board now is now like the people involved in running the system. They are a formally chartered group responsible for reviewing, evaluating, approving, delaying, rejecting changes to the project, and for recording and communicating such decisions. So this is an example workflow. You identify change, it is submitted, you log it, then you describe the change, then you analyze the change for the impact on your project, impact on cost, impact on time, on the schedule, impact on risk, impact on communication, impact on resource, impact on procurement, impact on your risk, impact everywhere. You look for impact, and then you determine what is the best course of action based on your analysis. Then you now take a decision on what to do, and you update everybody. So that is also what you have here. If it is accepted, fine. If it's not accepted, boom, you reject. But even if it's accepted or rejected, you should always log. You should always keep a log of what you are doing. So approve change request. When a change request has passed through the change control system, or if it has been sent to the change control board. So if it is approved, then it becomes approved change request. So approved change requests are requests that have been received and approved by the change control board, or in accordance with the integrated change control system or change control plan. And then because they have been approved, they are ready for implementation. Change the window size from 2 inches to 3 inches. Okay, Oga, let me get approval for this first. And then you go and get approval. So after you have gotten approval, what next? Action. Action comes next. So that's why it's meant, that's what is meant by after this is done, then then you need to be ready to be scheduled for implementation. Approved changes can include corrective actions, preventive actions, defect repair, and updates. Hello, Mr. Muhammad, are you there? No, it's not. Okay, Madam Olugumi, we're back to you again. Can you read this to us?
Guidelines to manage project changes. Make sure your change control system is cost effective. Establish or make use of an existing CCB composed of project stakeholders to evaluate change requests. Document the effects the changes have on the applicable project baseline.
Okay.
Obtain approval from the appropriate parties for all change requests before implementing the change. Use configuration management
Okay.
to document and control changes to original product characteristics. Coordinate
Okay.
changes across knowledge areas as appropriate. For example, does a proposed schedule change affect cost, risk, quality, and or staffing? Use
Okay.
performance reports to measure project performance. Identify corrective action
Okay.
necessary to bring expected performance in the in line with the project plan. Update the project plan to reflect changes made
Okay.
that affect performance baselines. Document the
Okay.
causes of variance, the steps taken to correct performance problems, and the rationale behind the decision-making process.
Hmm. Thank you very much. At this point, we have come to the end of that process. Now we are moving to the next process: manage project issues. Well, yeah, let's go on our first break.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, well, hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, this is Miss Madam
Madam Olubunmi.
yes. We're on break, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, I just joined the class and the late come. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hello.
Uh,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've been waiting.
uh-huh.
Welcome.
Okay. Uh-huh. All right. Welcome everybody. Let's proceed. We are
Now, I
moving at
don't
good
know if
speed.
others are here. I'm the only one responding now.
Yeah, dear. Yeah, dear. You came late, Oga, as usual.
Uh,
Funny, eh?
which one is as usual inside now? 1 out of 12. Is it as usual?
Yes, now. No be so. How sharp body? How body? That's the important thing.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I've started blending.
Okay. Okay. Oh. No, no, no wahala. Let's manage project issues. If you are
Okay.
missing, if you are even if you miss 10 minutes, you'll be surprised that in those 10 minutes you have finished a whole process. You finish a whole task because this the remaining tasks are not very long.
Okay.
They are not very long. They are quite short. The tasks that we'll be
Okay.
discussing going forward, they're not like those initial ones that was
Yeah.
like we
You,
discuss
you
task
mentioned
one
that in
task a
last
whole
class.
day. You know,
Yeah.
so these ones are not long.
Okay.
Like if you notice now, Mr. Toya Jani, you have done two tasks again already today.
Today,
I have missed both.
as
Yes,
in
you've done two.
before 8.
This is yes. We did
Ah.
manage changes and we did create project artifacts. They are short, 7 slides, 10 slides,
Oh.
stuffs.
Oh.
Okay, so let's manage project issues. We have three enablers. First of all, what is an issue? Let's start from there. An issue is a current condition or situation that may have an impact on the project objectives. In other words, it's an action item that the project team must address. It's an action item that the project team must address. Common areas include scope, schedule issues, cost issues, project variance analysis, um, quality issues, risk issues, procurement issues, communication issues. Okay, fine. Now that we know what issues are, let's come back to our enablers. Recognize when a risk becomes an issue. And that takes me to the question, Mr. Toyajani, what is the difference between a risk and an issue?
Okay. Like you just mentioned now, a risk, an issue is what has been identified as something that can have an impact and most likely a negative impact on the project. So, uh,
Okay.
as for risk, like we discussed, I think in the last class, risk we expose us to um, threats and opportunities. So risk on its own
Okay.
is not automatically we have the negative side and the positive side. So it's not automatically negative. But as for issues, we always want to assume that issues are usually negative and things that must be and usually issues that must be addressed that will have a negative impact on the project. As it's a bit different, it's quite different from risk. Both
Okay.
of them will have impact. Risk has its own impact. What's it called? Issues too will have impact, but issues are more of negative. It's usually when you say we have issues, it's a negative. It's not a positive thing. So it doesn't give us like risk where we can even create opportunities out of our risk. I'm done. And can I add this too? An issue can also be a risk, but a risk is not necessarily an issue. I can't hear you anymore. I'm not sure you're still there. I think my network is fine here. I can't hear you. Hello?
Hello? Ah. Hello. Sorry.
Hello, sir.
Shey you dey hear me so?
Yes.
Me, I no know wetin happen to the thing. The thing just dabaru pafuka kind of level. But I believe you can hear me now. Madam Olubumi, can you hear me? Who is hearing me? Who is with me? Hello, can I proceed? Can you hear me?
I can hear you,
Hello.
sir. Okay.
Finally. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Before I got cut off, somebody was asking the question, was answering the question of distinction between clerical issue and risk. But the person is offline now. So who would help us continue with that discussion? Is Mr. Muhammad in class? No, he's not. Madam Lubumi, do you mind continuing the discussion?
What's the discussion about, sir?
Distinction between issue and between issue and risk. Any difference?
I don't think there is much difference.
Political answer. You have not answered my question. Oh yeah, it's your John Law.
For issue is defined as a current condition or situation that may have an impact on a project objectives.
Okay. Okay. Risk you anchor.
While risk is
Why risk is silence? You know risk now, huh?
okay, risk is uncertain events.
Okay. So now you have
It,
defined
it, it
both.
has it has either positive or negative effect on a project.
Okay. 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 That's good. I am looking at it from another perspective. I am looking at it from a perspective of risk is an uncertainty. Uncertainty in the sense that we really have no idea whether it will happen. But issues are usually discussed in light of what has happened. Is that correct? Do you think that perspective is correct?
I don't agree.
Okay. Do you regard issues also as things that have not happened?
That have not happened, yes.
Hmm.
But there are times that it has not happened, that have not happened. So yes, 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 yes. But that's that. Most of the
Hmm.
time, it is. Most of the time, it has happened.
I think it's seen as something that has happened or that is happening,
Hmm.
that is ongoing.
I just googled project issue now. I just googled it, and let me read the definition. A project issue is a problem that has been encountered. That's how they explained it.
That's happened.
That has been encountered while you are working on a project. And this problem impairs the project's ability to successfully complete.
Mm, mm,
Hmm?
mm,
Hey, you get that now.
mm.
Hmm? So I think from that angle, I won't be wrong to say a project issue is largely around what has happened, and a project risk is largely around what we envisage will happen. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you know why I had to make that distinction? If
Okay.
you don't make that distinction, you will not be able to explain this first enabler. Okay. Now that we have made the distinction, who can explain this first enabler?
Second enabler.
No, the
Oh,
first
first
one.
enabler. Recognize when a risk becomes an issue.
Yes.
I mean, it says if we are to go by our definitions, then it means that we should be able to envisage the risk. Then now know when that risk happens, it becomes an issue.
Again, please. Again, please.
No, I said we envisage that risk, so we know that this is like there's a possibility that this is going to happen. Now, when it happens, it's for us to be able to recognize that this is part of the risk we have envisaged. Now it has happened. How do we deal with it?
Hmm. 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 Okay. So do you now see the reason why we wouldn't have been able to explain this if we did not know the difference between a risk
Risk
and
and
an
issue.
issue? So from
Yeah.
this now, we know clearly that risk is at the level of it can happen, it cannot happen.
Yes.
But we want to manage our risk such that when that risk happens and it becomes a problem, then it has become an issue.
Yeah.
So we need to be able, as part of managing issues on a project, we need to be able to know when an uncertainty becomes a problem. That's part of, because how do you manage issues when you don't even know when issues happen? So you should be so on top of your game as a project manager that you can see the transition from when these things were at the level of being it can happen, to it has happened. Hmm? Okay, thank you very much. Then you want to attack the issue with the optimal action to achieve project success. Look at the word attack. Yes, the word is attack. I like that power word, attack. They didn't say treat the issue. No, you attack issues. Mr. Toyajani, why do we attack issues and not treat issues?
Because we want to kill them. I want to have that sense of urgency. You know, we want to totally eliminate. We don't want to manage it. You understand? It's when we say we want to treat, they probably want to manage it. We want to see the best we can get out of that situation. No, the issues we want to kill it entirely. We want to remove it. So it's an issue of elimination.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
But sometimes you may not succeed, though. But that should
Okay.
be the goal. I don't think you succeed all the
Of
time
course,
in
definitely.
attacking these things. You understand, and killing it. But
Of course.
you might end up treating it.
Of course.
But the objective is to kill it.
Okay. Yeah, correct. 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 So what we have here is collaborate with relevant stakeholders on the approach to resolve the issues. Beautiful. That's part of your successful project management, engaging your stakeholders, because sometimes you
Yeah.
cannot handle issues on your own. Okay, so we have defined issue. Okay. Aha. Satoya Jani, please lead this discussion on this slide. Let's see. What do you think?
Okay, risk and issues.
Yes.
So we have risk focused on the future. Issues, we are focused on the present.
Okay.
Okay. Risk, under risk again, we say we can be positive or negative. Then issues, we say we always be negative. Risk is documented in the risk register. Issues are documented in the log, in the issue log.
Okay.
Okay. Response is called a risk response. Response is called a workaround. Wow,
Hmm.
interesting.
Okay. Okay.
Risk register log,
Okay.
issue log.
Hmm.
Positive, negative, negative. Future, present. Interesting.
So that distinction we made earlier
Yeah.
is what is meant by focus on the future and
Yeah.
focused on the present.
Present.
Hmm?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. Question.
Okay.
Does it mean that if an issue should come up, without us envisaging earlier and it being factored in our risk in the first place, are we?
Again, please.
Is it? Uh, are you there?
Okay. Yeah.
If an issue comes up, because the way it appears here now, it's as if issues will always come out from our risks. But I'm of the I feel that issues can come out and it was not envisaged at all. So is it good to say that? Can we safely say that we did not do proper risk assessment? That's why we have issues that was not even envisaged in the first place. Or we can say no. we know that risk, we cannot entirely cover everything in the first place. So when issues come out, that was not if you say it as part of our risk, it is normal.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. All things being equal, it is expected that you would have pre-seen all possible issues. Your
Okay.
pre-seen of issues will come as part of your managing risk on the project. But
Yes.
of course, because you are not God, you would
Okay.
there's some things could slip by, and
Yeah.
then yes, it means that it's usually as a result of a gap. Now, let me
Yeah.
ask you a very quick. Okay, don't let me ask you. Let me
So
ask Madam Mulubumi. Madam Mulubumi, are you there?
I am here.
What do you use to take care of issues that have happened and they were not foreseen and it requires you to spend money? Where do you get the money to spend from?
Hmm. The
It's not in the
money,
budget. It's not in the budget. We did not even see it coming at all.
they're not even seeing it coming at all.
Yes.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm. Can it, maybe it can we can say is it management cost?
Sorry, you said what?
Management cost.
Management reserve.
Management
Oh,
reserve.
reserve. Sorry, management reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
management reserve.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Let's move on.
Hello.
Okay. Sorry. I'm back again now. Hello. You did, yeah?
Yes.
Madam Lugumi.
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry. All things being equal, I shouldn't leave again. We have to change power source. And the power source of the router it just went off. Okay, so now let's discuss the issue log. You know, you saw it there. Risk are stored in the risk register. Issues are stored in the issue log. So the issue log essentially is what is called where you log issues. That is what it is called. So a document where information about issues are recorded and monitored is used to track problems, inconsistencies, conflicts that occur during the life of a project and require investigation in order to work towards a resolution. So what's an issue resolution? An issue, as issues arise, we want to promptly add them to the issue log. Okay. Why do we want to add issues to the issue log? Number one, organizational knowledge. Number two, structure. You want to give your project management system a structure through which you would be able to proper documentation essentially. So each issue will have an owner. So who is an owner? The owner is the person who is primarily responsible for tracking the progress of the issue, primarily responsible for the workaround of the issue, primarily responsible for reporting back to the project manager on the issue. Please note, issue owner, issue owner. Just like for risk too, you have what they call risk owner, issue owner, risk owner. These are important terminologies, please. Okay. So issues should be kept, the due date should be realistic, and every reasonable attempt should be made to meet it. Okay. And issues should be a regular topic at every status meeting. The goal to keep the number of open issues to a manageable number. Okay. Don't hesitate to highlight an issue to the project sponsor if it begins to have a major effect on the project. Madam Oluwaseyi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Do you mind if you at least hear your voice for some seconds before you run away again?
I'm not running away. I've been here since the class
I know
opened. So what do you want me to do, sir?
you are silent now.
Yes, now I explained to you why.
Yes,
What do
I
you need me
know.
to do, sir?
I want to say we will hear your voice more now. May you read the slide for us.
Uh, okay, guidelines to resolving issues. Use your organization's issue log template, or in the absence of one, create an issue log. Train project team members to promptly report potential issues to the project manager, who will determine if they belong in the issue log. Enter the issue into the issue log and assign an owner and a due date. Monitor progress and discuss each open issue at every project status meeting. Develop a response, also known as a workaround, to the issue. Assess the impact of the response. Approve the response, then close the issue.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Madam Oluwaseyi, I said I will not disturb you. Okay. Madam Olubumi, may I disturb you small? Look at point number 4. Why do we need point number 4?
Sorry, please, can you repeat the question? It wasn't clear.
Point number 4.
Yes?
Why do we need point number 4? Can you explain the point number 4? Why?
Why do we need what?
Point number 4 on this list.
I
The fourth
see.
guideline.
Monitor progress and discuss each open issue at every project status meeting. Yeah.
Why do we need? Why do you think that is superfluous?
So again, I think the reason to keep this under watch is because of two possibilities. An issue can become it's still an issue, but things can deteriorate. So it's important that it is being monitored and is discussed at every project status meeting, at least until the issue is resolved or it is closed. That's one reason why I think.
Is this because what?
Because, sorry, sir. What
I
did you
didn't hear
say?
you. You said it's like what? I'm listening.
Okay, I don't know if you. Okay,
please proceed.
What I said was one reason to keep it in view and to be monitoring the progress and to keep it in everybody's view is because issues can deteriorate. So maybe the initial, maybe the first issue is, yeah. So maybe I can't think of a ready example now, but things can go from bad to worse. So that's one reason to keep it in view,
Hmm.
and to to at least until the issue is resolved and closed. That's one. And in like manner, the other side is something that poses as an issue can be resolved basis the workaround that's been put in place. So, for example, if it's something that is external, let's say maybe an important regulatory body that is factored into the work of a project goes on strike, for instance. So, if things are resolved, that issue goes away. So maybe it's possible that the issue goes away. It's possible that there is impact. It's possible that there is no impact. So those are basically the two reasons I can think of why you need to keep and keep it under close monitoring and close watch.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So at this point, we move on. We have just come to the end of that task again. We move on to this task, which is to ensure knowledge transfer for project continuity. Madam Olubumi, remind me, which lesson are we discussing?
Lesson 3. Lesson 3.
Okay. Okay.
Doing the work.
And what is lesson 3?
Doing the work.
Solid. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Toya Jani, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Walk us through this enablers, please.
Okay. Maintain team and knowledge transfer. Discuss project
Okay.
responsibilities. Can you hear me? Okay. Discuss project responsibilities within the team. Within team,
Yes.
outline expectations for working environment.
Okay.
Confirm approach for knowledge transfers. Okay. So I think before you go further, there are some questions that have been. There's one particular question that has been on my mind for so long. I've been waiting for the time to ask that question. The time has come.
Okay.
The question is this. Maybe the environment will determine what was going to happen. I see a situation where the project manager needs to have a perfect working relationship with HR.
Okay.
Without
Okay.
that,
What
I
do you
don't
mean
know
by that?
how. Okay, without that, I don't know how the project manager is going to succeed in carrying out some of these things. Okay, so how do you, how will the project manager maintain team and knowledge transfer? Okay, the project manager,
How do what?
how will the project manager be able to enforce some of these things? I mean, the project manager will be the one responsible for ensuring that there's knowledge transfer between within the team members. I mean, if I understand what knowledge transfer is about, is Mr. A knows something and he's been working on something, he has some technical or whatever, some knowledge that he needs to transfer to Mr. B, that we expect Mr. B to come and tell us that he now knows how to do it. You understand? So how would the project manager be able to enforce some of these things?
See, in the context of organization, yes, the HR, or let's say functional manager, in the context of the project. It all comes back to the kind of project structure. Are we talking of a full projectized system, or we are talking of a functional or matrix system? It depends on where the balance of power is.
PM doesn't have
If the
full
balance of power
authority.
is such that project manager has a lot of authority, you understand, so you can fire. For example, in a projectized organization that there is no organization safe, it's the project that brings you together. After project, everybody is disbanded. You understand? That one, he has all the power to do a lot. But if it's a system that you are writing letter to the HOD to release 1 or 2 staff to you, before the people can cough, you have to go and get permission from HOD. Before the clinical can smile, you have to get permission from HOD. You know, some of these things might be very difficult. So it all comes down to the structure of the project.
Okay. Thanks.
So, okay. Back to our question. Walk us through these enablers quickly. First of all, which process, which task are we discussing at the moment? This is the task. What task are we discussing, Mr. Toya Jani?
I can't remember.
This is it on the screen.
Oh, okay. I want ensure knowledge transfer for project continuity.
Please now.
Ensure knowledge transfer for project continuity. Hello? I've just said the second time.
Say what?
Ensure knowledge transfer for project continuity. Hello? The third time I'm reading it. Oh. Can you hear me? My God.
What's the task? Good. Walk us through this set of enablers quickly.
Maintain team knowledge transfer. I've done that. Do you want me to say any other thing? I've done that before. I think I've done that. You want me to say something about each enabler? I think you can't. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir, I can hear you. I think he's out.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you still see his screen? Okay. Hello, are you back?
Yeah, it's coming up now. Yeah, it's up now. I think it should be.
So I've read these enablers earlier. Do you want me to say something about them, or you just want me to read them again?
Oh God, this is not your day one in the class. When we say walk us through, it means just one thing. Walk us
what
through.
Does it mean?
Dictate. It means for each one of them, explain and link it back to the task.
Okay. Maintain team and knowledge transfer. We are trying to keep our team and also ensure that there's a knowledge transfer in between team members. That's for the first enabler. The second one says discuss project responsibilities.
How is it related to the of course, you understand the concept of the word enabler. Enabler means that it has the potential to play an important role in making the task get done. Mr. Toya Jani, what task are we discussing now?
Should I keep it here?
Ensure working relationship within the team, the project team.
Again, please.
Ensure knowledge transfer for project continuity. Yes.
Good. Now,
knowledge
explain
transfer
how
for
point
project
number
continuity.
1 does that. How does number 1 do that?
Okay.
How does enabler number 1 help us on that?
Okay, no Allah. If you are able to maintain your team, you understand, if you are able to keep your team, there'll be room for continuity. You understand? So if you keep your team, you maintain your team, you don't have issues where one member has left, you only have two of them left out of four. Then there are issues, there are knowledge gaps. You understand? And if at all that happens, if you have tried to ensure there's knowledge transfer within team members, if one person is even leaving, that gap won't be felt. The team might just be a bit overworked, stretched, but you won't feel it will have very little impact on that's why even when sometimes a team member needs to go on leave, he can hand over to another person, knowing fully well that because you're on leave doesn't mean we need to hire another person. Because you're on leave doesn't mean the project or your responsibility is going to suffer. I think that is clear to ensure continuity.
Okay.
That so and also when we say we are discussing responsibilities within the team, we want to ensure that everyone knows his or her own responsibilities. You understand? To Though
Okay.
I can't link this really. I don't know how we're going to link the okay, it's project responsibilities, not the team responsibilities. So project responsibility, discuss project responsibilities within team. Someone will help me there.
Okay.
Maybe I should skip that one.
You're not clear.
Outline
I can't hear
expect.
you clearly.
Hello, I said for project responsibilities, it's not clear. I'm unable to connect it to the task. Okay, so I move on to outline expectations for working
What is
environment.
wait? What is the task again? What is the task again? What is the task
Ensure
again, Oga?
ensure transfer knowledge for project continuity.
Knowledge transfer for
Yes.
project continuity. Knowledge
Yes.
transfer for project continuity.
Yeah.
Knowledge transfer for project continuity. Does
Yeah.
discussing project relationships, responsibilities within the team, does it have any role in ensuring knowledge transfer for project continuities? Project responsibilities, project continuity, project responsibilities. Okay, if you look at this topic now, this enabler, if you want to ensure knowledge transfer, knowledge transfer. If I want to look at it, I will look at it from the angle of saying, who wants to transfer knowledge? Team members amongst themselves. They want to keep their knowledge documented. They want to ensure somebody else can put there's flow of knowledge within them, within
Yeah.
the team members to aid project continuity.
Okay.
Okay, but don't you now think that those who want to do that, it is important to have clarity around roles and responsibilities within the team, because it is the roles and responsibilities that are clear that can now be um, what's the word? That can now be discussed, that can now be
Okay.
transferred. That's the closest I can
Mm.
think of. Do we have any other better idea?
Mm.
Anyway, proceed to the third one.
Outline expectations for working environment. Okay. So
Okay, what comes to your mind?
um we want to have we have some expectations in our working environment, so maybe what those
Okay,
expectations would have been documented, and we need to make it clear to the team. The team, everyone needs to be on top of it as regards their responsibilities now. So they need to know um, are the expectations of the organization, so to say, as regards the working environment itself. So I don't know what example I can call that I can pick right now, but I think it is clear as to what working environment is and expectations.
Hmm. Okay, next please.
Confirm approach for knowledge transfers.
Next please. Next please.
Confirm approach for knowledge transfers. So, yeah, trying to ensure continuity, we need to have let me say, an agreed upon approach that we want to use. So we don't just say knowledge transfer. Knowledge has been transferred to this person. Okay, maybe we have an approach that says this is how you are going to walk the person through. This is how this person is also going to come back with a feedback to say, yes, I now know how to do these things. These things needs to be documented. Just don't just say, okay, so there's an approach, there's a methodology, there's a way we want to go about it, such that it's systemized. It's not something we just do and say, okay, knowledge has been transferred.
Hmm.
There's an approach. So if you have that approach, if it is well defined, sometimes it may not even be necessary. The work required for the team to transfer knowledge is reduced. So if some things are documented, I mean, if the knowledge, there are some things that you can just easily walk someone through. If as an approach, there's a process that you use. So you can always tell someone, okay, pick this document, go through it. If you have any issues, come back to me. Then there's already an approach, there's a system, it's systemized, it's not just anyhow, so to say. Okay.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you very much. Let's proceed. I was moving too fast, so I used you to slow down the pace of the class. So now that we have slowed down, let's go back to our fast mode. Our fast mode. Okay. So, no specific deliverables for this task. Okay. Uh, so two types of knowledge. We discussed knowledge. Was that last class? Yes, that should be last class. We discussed this. We said there are two types. You have explicit knowledge and you have tacit. Explicit knowledge is the one that can be easily documented. It can be easily codified for sharing and all of that. Tacit knowledge is more of in the mind, experience, insight, belief. It's not something that is written down per se, not something that has been put in and codified in words or codified in maybe an image or a database or something. So that's that. So when you are managing knowledge as a project manager, you need to understand that you are managing knowledge at three levels. You are managing knowledge at three levels. At the level of each individual, at the level of the project itself, and at the level of the organization. At the level of the individual, at the level of the project, at the level of the organization. So at the level of the individual, um, each team member understanding their need, understanding what they want to achieve, understanding how to help them get there. At the level of the project, not talking of maybe lessons learned repository, ensuring that you're updating OPAs, ensuring that you are leveraging on existing documentation to be able to um, get wisdom for what you are working on. So that one is at the level of OPA. At level, okay, well, I think that's at the level of the organization. At the level of the project, that one is saying you're focusing on the goals of the current project, soliciting knowledge from other projects that can be applied to the current project, and then leveraging on the PMO to help you. So those are just anyway the key points to say here, to pick from here, is that as a project manager that is managing knowledge, you should always understand that you are managing knowledge at the level of individuals, managing knowledge at the level of the project itself, and then managing knowledge at the level of what's the word? At the level of the organization. At the level of the organization. Okay, that's that. Okay, lessons learned. I've not made this. So lessons learned. We have come across lessons learned many times already. So essentially, what we mean is just the knowledge gained during a project that can be useful to subsequent phases or other or subsequent projects. It could be positive, negative. A lot of people have this misconception of thinking lessons learned is only the bad things that happen that you want to document. No, you worked on a particular procedure and you learned a new way of getting it done. Write it down, you know. So reinventing the wheel is both time consuming and costly. Reinventing the wheel is both time consuming and costly. Today, I was supposed to, I'd already booked several hours for a particular procedure that I want to do for a project I'm working on. That project, I've been on it for years, and I want to repeat some procedures that I've done before. I was expecting it to be very hard for me, very complicated. You won't believe it that I somehow just luckily came across a documentation that I had I had last year, wherein what I was thinking will take me 3 hours to sort out had already been sorted out as far back as a year ago. When you don't document things, you lose a lot of, you lose so much when you don't document things.
It's very sad.
So always document your lessons learned. That's the key thing here. So the amount of time and effort on documenting lessons learned can pay big dividends in the future. I just gave you a case study now. So considerations for lessons learned. This is another very important slide. Please, when you are told to document lessons learned, a lot of times you make the mistake of just saying, what did I learn? Okay, I learned ABC. Boom. And you think you are done. You are doing yourself. You are doing yourself. Lessons learned is more than just looking at it from one perspective. You want to consider your lessons learned from multiple perspectives. From the angle of scheduling, what did I learn? From the angle of managing conflicts, what did I learn? From the angle of handling vendors, what did I learn? From the angle of handling customers, what did I learn? From the angle of strategic lessons, what did I learn? From the angle of tactical lessons, what did I learn? And then from the angle of any other perspective. So be detailed. Don't just look at things from just one lens. Okay? So here you have a distinction between um, lessons learned register and lessons learned repository. Lessons learned register is where you document what you have learned on the project. Lessons learned repository is the OPA of the organization that contains a documentation of all the lessons learned register that you have of different projects that you have been compiling together or that you have been documenting. So that is that on that. So project responsibilities within the team. Leadership. Leadership to communicate the organization's vision, inspire the team, and focus on the goals of projects. Facilitation to effectively guide a group to successful solution to a problem. Political awareness to keep the project manager aware of the organization's political environment. Networking to facilitate relations among project stakeholders so that knowledge is shared at all levels. Okay, working environment expectations. Okay, Mr. Toyajani, you had a discussion around working environment and enabler in that direction. Please read this slide to us.
Working environment expectations. Knowledge is not constant. What we knew yesterday can change based on what we did today. Continue based on what we did today. Continuously evaluate the project environment for new risks and follow the risk management plan to proactively address them before they become issues that will affect the project objectives. Don't hoard knowledge. Follow the communications management plan and inform stakeholders of changes affecting their work. Use appropriate tools. Use appropriate tools to share knowledge with stakeholders. Face to face during formal meetings, face to face during informal meetings and discussions, telephone, email, wikis, intranet, and printed documents.
Printed documents. Hmm. Okay. Thank you very much. You also talked about knowledge transfer approach sometime
Knowledge transfer
as part of the
approach. Knowledge
enablers.
transfer approach. Okay.
So what? Yes.
Knowledge transfer
Proceed, please.
consists
Proceed.
of connecting individuals in person or virtually to share tacit knowledge and collaborate together. Techniques include networking, facilitating special interest groups, meetings, seminars, and various other types of in-person and virtual events that encourage people to interact and exchange ideas and knowledge. Training that involves interactions between attendees, walking, work shadowing, that's it, work shadowing and reverse shadowing provide a more individualized method to the
Hmm.
knowledge of specialized knowledge. Okay, now I'm confused. What's work knowledge and reverse knowledge shadowing? What's work shadowing and reverse shadowing? Please. The last one.
Sorry, I didn't get
Work,
that. What's what?
work shadowing and reverse shadowing. Anyone? Any work shadowing and reverse shadowing? I can't.
Work shadowing now. You
Um,
don't peer mentoring. Just shadowing.
Okay.
When you
Not
get somebody
observing,
else.
following, yeah, in your shoe, kind of.
Yes.
When
Somebody
what? Say
But I
that
don't
to
know.
again.
like an informal is largely. Please proceed, Madam Oluwaseyi.
Okay.
Madam Oluwaseyi, I'm listening now.
No, so okay. On work shadowing, so there's something that how do you say it, that we do at the office. It's called in your shoes. It's the closest to what I want to explain. So probably somebody from the factory will, on a particular day, leave his work and come and shadow somebody that works that does another kind of work. Now that's extreme. But in this case, members of the project team can watch or shadow somebody that understands the job to be done perfectly and learn in the process. That's
Okay.
what work shadowing is.
Hmm.
Okay.
I have a question,
Hmm. Exactly. Okay. Please proceed.
On point one, is there a reason why only
Proceed.
tacit knowledge is referred to in point one?
Only.
Tacit knowledge.
Only what?
Tacit
Only tacit
knowledge.
Okay.
knowledge is mentioned.
Yes, in point one. Is there a reason?
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Ah. Okay. Knowledge transfer consists of connecting individuals in person or virtually to share tacit knowledge and collaborate together. I can't figure it out. I think it must have been an oversight. It doesn't have to be tacit alone,
So, okay, okay, okay.
to the best of my
All right.
understanding. Madam Loashi.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Toyajani, you now you know what job shadowing is. Do you know what reverse shadowing is?
Hmm. If work
Okay, so
shadowing
tell us
is
what's
what we
reverse
just said.
shadowing.
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to say if work
Yes.
shadowing is this, then the reverse is the case here now. So Don't let me guess and
So
just
what is
mess
the
it up.
reverse?
I don't have an idea. It's not clear. The reverse is for
It may
Tell
be
us
the
what's the
right
reverse.
thing,
reverse
though.
will be this almost the same thing now. So, but let me hear from the professionals.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's a, what do you call it?
The reverse, when you do work
Um,
shadowing, you are bringing someone is largely
that knows.
linking a low level person with a high level person. That's normal work
Yes.
shadowing. That knows, yes. But in reverse shadowing, you are linking a low level person with a high level person. More of like linking juniors to the seniors to let the seniors kind of have an idea of what the juniors are doing, kind of.
Yeah.
You understand? The normal
Yeah.
shadowing is okay. The junior person wants to wait, let me see, am I misunderstanding you? Junior in normal work shadowing, the junior wants to go and should I use the word learn from
Understood you. Thank
uh,
you, man.
wants to go and
Yeah.
learn from the seniors, kind of
Yes.
like an observational kind of informal learning and teaching. But reverse shadowing is more of
Yes.
the lower people going to share their ideas with the upper people. You understand? There are times in which, okay, let me give you an example. I went to buy something sometime in the town very close to where I live, and I was told that the Chinese, the people that did Indomie, the Chinese people, Tony, this Toleram, what do you call them? So one of the Chinese actually followed the delivery van that came to deliver cartons of Indomie for that shop. That shop is not a very big shop, not a very small shop per se, but not like the very big distributor level kind of shop. But
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
Chinese guy says he wants to see what is happening at the lowest level
Sorry.
of their supply chain. So that Chinese guy actually followed that delivery guy around for that day.
Hmm.
I want to regard that as a form of reverse shadowing, in which
Yes.
the lower level
Yes.
actually want to give some
Yeah. Yes.
insights to the upper level.
Yes.
Hmm? So that's reverse shadowing.
Can I
Okay, so guidelines to maintain. Okay,
can I say
proceed.
something? So something just came to my mind. I remember
Yes,
that
please proceed.
they still do it. So especially for the sales team,
Okay.
and which is exactly what you just mentioned. But in this regard, it's a case of
You said what?
do your work. Your superior accompanies you, observes you as you do your work, notices the gaps, and at the end of the day says, okay, this should have been done like this. This is how. So it's a way to also assess how the rookie does his job, whether rookie or yeah. So what's the improvement? So it's on
Okay.
the job observation by the more knowledgeable. Hello, hello.
Okay. Yes.
So it's by on the job observation of so
Madam, we
like
are
I
there. We
tried
can
with
hear
you.
you.
Okay. So, assuming that I'm a sales manager, I have sales officers. So I just say, sales officer, hey, you are covering Ogba to Ikeja today. I'm riding with you. And I sit in the bus. I observe you as you talk to customers, as you do your drop off, as you do your documentation, as you merchandise. I notice the gap, and then during wrap up, okay, you did this well, you can do this in a better way, and all of that.
Okay. 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 That's fine. Thank you very much. So guidelines to maintain team and knowledge transfer. If your organization has a project management office, follow its guidelines on documenting new knowledge. Be alert to new sources of project knowledge and follow the communications management plan to convey knowledge to stakeholders. Proactively seek new knowledge, compile a lessons learned register throughout the project's life cycle, and add it to a lessons learned repository, which registers from other projects. Okay, so at this point we have come to the end of this lesson. We'll start the next lesson after this break. But before we go on break, let's just do this. Okay, Madam Olubumi, are you with us? Hello, sorry. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Let's
Hello.
just go on break, abeg. Let's just go on break before we start the new lesson. So let's just take a quick 10 minutes break.
Very.
But while we go on break,
You
please,
see now.
it is me that I'm going on break. You don't have break. Look at these questions. I can ask anybody to answer them once we resume. Think through them.
No. It's internet, man. Feel.
Hello? Ah, hello, hello. Hello?
Hello, sir.
How far now?
Ah, mm, it's well.
Okay, so can we proceed now? Like, only you are come.
Hey, 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 hey. Yes, I guess.
Hmm. Um, okay. So let's start with a new lesson. We have created a high performing team. We have started the work. We've been doing the work. Now is the time to proceed with keeping the project on track. Madam Luashi, can
Yes,
you
sir.
kindly read out the process? Can you kindly read out the the tasks under this process, under this lesson? Sorry.
Okay. Keeping the team on track. Task one, lead a team. Task two, support team performance. Task three, address and remove impediments, obstacles, and blockers. Task four, manage conflict. Task five, collaborate with stakeholders. Task six,
Hmm.
mentor relevant stakeholders. And the
Hmm.
last task, apply emotional intelligence to promote team performance.
Hmm. Okay. So let's start with the first one. Lead a team. Lead a team. Lead a team. So here we have 8 enablers. Set a clear mission, a vision and mission. Okay. So Patele, no, you cannot lead a team when those who you are leading do not have clarity around the direction in which you are going. So that is why
Mm,
you need to set a clear vision and mission. Support diversity and inclusion. We discussed this earlier. When you are leading your team, as much as possible, there should be support for diversity and then inclusion, such that it's not just a particular clique or set of people who are doing things. We want to ensure that as much as possible, the right people are carried along and are involved in the right activities. Value servant leadership. We discussed the concept of servant leadership. It's a very important concept, especially for agile projects. Because agile projects specifically require you to use the servant leadership style of leading. Because anyway, we'll discuss that much when we get there. Determine the appropriate leadership style. There are different leadership styles. Choose one that is okay. Inspire, motivate, and influence team members. Of course, part of your role. When they say lead a team, they didn't say manage a team. Manage a team is largely administrative, procedural, bureaucratic. But lead a team is largely inspirational, motivational, being influential. Mm? Just like um, just like John Maxwell would say, leadership is influence. That's a true statement. Mm? That's what we are saying here. Analyze team members' influence and stake others' influence. Hello, sorry. My network is doing one kind today.
There's a background noise.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but there's a background noise. Like you're watching NTA News or on Radio Nigeria.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. Let's proceed. Um, wow. Okay. Mhm. All right. So analyze team members and stakeholders' influence. We've explained that. Distinguish between various options to lead various team members and stakeholders. Then maintain the team. Maintain the team. Here you have different deliverables and tools. Yeah, tons and tons of them. We'll discuss some of them. Vision and mission. Essentially, when you say vision and mission, what you are saying here is that it's just you wanting to describe where you are going. The vision is a big picture of where you are going. The mission is what do you need to do to get there. So project manager is the visionary leader of the project. And when you say visionary leader, you are the person who has the primary responsibility of communicating the big picture and then always keeping people on track towards working in the direction of the big picture. So you're educating the team about where you are going. You are promoting teamwork and collaboration towards achieving the big picture. You are assisting with project management tools, techniques, removing roadblocks, and articulating the mission. Promoting the project's mission and values inspires the team to remain focused and feel pride. Diversity awareness and cultural competencies. Mr. Toyajani, are you there? Diversity
Yes, I mean,
awareness. Please read this slide to us, please.
diversity awareness and cultural competencies. Use the leadership approach. Can you hear me? Use the leadership
Yes.
approach and style that best suits the situation and the stakeholders. Be aware of individual and team aims and working relationships,
Okay.
motivations, and working styles of groups and individuals vary based on experiences, age, culture, job roles, and many more influences. Projects that include more diverse locations, industries, organizations, stakeholders, working styles, and cultures require communication and openness to build trust. Hi.
Which sound is that you're making?
Hi, now my hi. Something entered my eye.
I
Don't worry.
sorry.
Don't worry.
Are you on a phone?
That's the thing now. So these days now, we are useful now because of this.
Anyways. No wahala. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. So, leadership styles. Hey, there's this thing about leadership is not the same as management. Madam Oluwaseyi, do you mind giving us your voice around that? Leadership is not the same as management. Madam Oluwaseyi, are you with us? Okay. Madam Olubumi, can you help us? Madam Olubumi. Okay. Toya Jani, seems like now only you are come.
Is that possible? Maybe network.
Okay, so let me hear your own thoughts about this concept of
Leadership
leadership is
not
not
same
management.
as management.
Yes.
Basically, leadership is. I don't see how someone would lead without some experience in management. You
Okay.
understand? Because as a leader, you need to have some qualities of a manager. You understand?
Okay.
So you need to have some management skills. Let me put it like that. You need to have some management skills because leadership is about you guiding people, giving them direction, focus. You understand, and keeping their eye on the ball. So you lead,
Okay.
you guide, you provide that focus. Okay. So I don't know how you want to do it without having some management skills, but it is not the same as management. As for
Okay.
management is more about you having it doesn't really mean leadership. You understand? You can be a manager and not necessarily be the leader or be a leader. You understand?
Okay.
That's why you have in some organizations, you can have a manager, and the manager is quite different from the team lead or So in some cases, the structure will be such that they'll say this one is operational manager, this one is clinical manager. So that way you know who is the lead, the leader. So the management is more around managing people, human capacity management, resources management, So there's something that's in existence, and you are asked to come and manage it. So for, like I said, leadership is more of someone to create some focus, create awareness, let everybody's eye be on the ball, so you don't lose focus. So that's leadership. So leadership, you need to have some management skills, because if you don't have management skills, you'll not be able to you'll not be able to pass your leadership qualities across to people.
Hmm.
So, but it's different.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that explanation. Thank you very much. I usually consider management to be rather administrative
Okay.
and leadership to be rather more of visional, being influential, and trying to get people to move in a particular direction.
Yeah.
But the bureaucratic part of it, the administrative part of it, is what is management.
No.
That's one way of saying it. Okay, so we're talking about servant leadership. We said the servant leadership is we said servant leadership is a type of leadership commonly found in agile. And one of the reasons why it is commonly found in agile is that agile, especially if you look at Scrum, for example,
Okay.
the Scrum Master is usually vehemently, I don't know, the agile people vehemently detests calling the Scrum Master a project manager,
No, really.
because for them, the Scrum Master is a guide, is a servant leader, not like, project manager is, you're almost like in charge, kind of,
Yeah.
But in their own case, they see a Scrum Master more as a facilitator, someone who is not like a bossy person pushing everybody around, trying to get them to do something. That they don't usually see their Scrum Masters in that direction. They usually see them more as somebody who facilitates rather than manage, somebody who provides coaching and training, remove work impediments, and then focuses on accomplishment. Encourages self-definition, self-discovery, self-awareness, self-awareness of members by listening, coaching, and providing an environment which allows them to grow. Okay. So challenging the status quo. Madam Olubumi, wetin be that? You're just
Sir,
waking up. You ran away from
no,
class.
I didn't run away. Oh. I was attending to some.
And same thing, not like just so. You ran away, not here. At least I called your name several times. No answer. It means it conclude pẹ̀lú sọ̀nà nìyẹn.
Rárá, I didn't. I was not sleeping. Sir.
Okay. Anyway, let's continue. Better. Okay, so what were we saying? Challenging the status quo. Past experiences and processes. Past experiences and processes provide guidance but should not dictate the current project. Okay, okay. Challenging the status quo provides an avenue. Challenging the status quo provides an avenue for new ideas and perspectives. Through challenge and introspection, the best approach can be discovered, and the complacency and blind acceptance should be avoided. Okay. Influence matrix. Aha. One of those things you also need to understand. I remember at some point I was asking some people that what's the difference management and between management and what's the second one?
Leadership.
and leadership. And they're saying uh, for leadership, you have to be at the top. For management, clinical, I said, no, you are wrong. In fact, it is management itself, go, 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 go. It is leadership itself, go, 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 that you don't even need to be at the top. I remember in that class, I showed them one of my books. Let me show you too. Where is the book, sir? Okay. Can you see my book? Can you see my book? Mr. Toya Jani, what's the title of this book?
360-degree leader.
Correct. The 360-degree leader. And that is one of the core principles of leadership. Leadership is 360 degrees. You lead up, you lead down, you lead sideways. It's not until you are at the topmost position that you talk about leadership. So, leading a team is based partly on your influence and the influence of other stakeholders. The influence goes in many directions. You can lead upwards in the direction of your senior management. You can lead downwards for your team and specialists. You can lead outward into external entities. You can lead sideways across pairs. So, salience classification model can also distinguish influence based on prioritization, urgency, and other aspects. Okay, so let's discuss what we mean salience model. What do we mean by salience model? It is a classification model that groups stakeholders based on their level of authority, their need, how appropriate is their level. What do we mean by this? Let's look at this now. The power grid is a form of saying, okay, you want to plot power together with interests. So you have high power, high interest, high power, low interest, low power, low interest, low power, high interest. Madam Oluwase, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you read the content of what I just said now, the power grid I just explained to you now, which is the power interest grid?
Yes.
I said high power, high interest. Yeah, relates that to the content of those boxes.
Okay, so for stakeholders that sit in the top left box, which is they have high power, but they have low interest. You keep them
Okay.
satisfied.
Okay.
For stakeholders that have high power and high interest, you manage them closely.
High power and what?
High power, high interest.
Okay.
You manage them closely.
Okay.
For stakeholders with low power, low interest, you monitor them.
Okay.
And for stakeholders with low power, high interest, you keep them informed.
Low power, high interest. Keep them informed. Thank you very much. So the same way you can have a power interest grid, just like what you have just done now, you can also have a power influence grid.
Influence, yes.
Yes. Okay, so team building. Teams perform better when increased cohesion and solidarity exists. Good leadership facilitates the bonding between project team members. Team building activities build trust, unity, empathy, and focus on the team over the individual. Okay? As part of leading a team, it is critical that you understand how to use reward and recognition. Madam Oluwaseyi, can you walk us through this reward and recognition table?
Uh, okay, so um, on rewards, rewards are tangible, consumable items,
Okay.
while recognition are intangible and they are experiential in nature. So rewards are given as a result of reaching a specific outcome or achievement, while recognition can be given as a result of recipient's behavior rather than outcome. Reward has a definite start and finish or a fixed time, while recognition is not restricted to a set time. Reward is what is usually expected when goals are met,
Okay.
while recognition is usually unexpected by the recipient. The purpose of
Okay.
reward is to motivate towards a specific outcome. It is, well, never given without recognition too. Whereas the purpose of recognition is to increase recipients' feeling of appreciation. Recognition can be given without a reward.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So guidelines for managing a team: use emotional intelligence. We'll still discuss emotional intelligence. Use it and other style typing methods to flex your style to work best with each stakeholder. Establish good communication among team members internally and externally. Monitor performance of team members on an ongoing basis. Manage conflict. Establish an issue log to track and assign issues. So at this point, we have come up to the end of this process, this task. We're about to start a new task, which is to support team performance. Support team performance. Okay. So at this point, we have of the task is support team performance. But we still have, okay, we definitely need to explain enablers to him. Yeah. Appraise team characteristics. Appraise team performance against KPIs. Don't forget that we are supporting team performance now. So part of supporting them is to ensure that they get the work done. So that's why you want to review their work in relation to the KPIs that
Yeah.
they've set. Then support and recognize team growth and development. Determine appropriate feedback approach. Determine appropriate feedback approach. Verify team member performance improvement. Team member performance improvement. Support team task accountability. Support team task accountability. Okay. So when we say KPIs, Mr. Toya Jani, are you there?
Yes, please.
Okay, so walk us through the concept of smart KPIs.
Okay.
I want to believe you should be very familiar.
Well, let's also key performance indicators is a set metric used to evaluate teams' performance against the project vision and objectives. KPIs can use the SMART acronym. So we have specific. I mean, the key performance indicator should be specific, clear,
Okay.
and I mean should be clear,
Okay.
should be specific, shouldn't be ambiguous. It should be measurable. So
Okay.
measurable, we should be able to
Okay.
measure it and measure performance. It should be achievable, something that is realistic, achievable,
Okay.
is relevant, Is it relevant
Okay.
to what we're doing? And time bound. It should have a time limit. There should be a time frame for you to deliver.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So, Mr. Toya Jani, remind me, which process are we discussing now? Which task?
See,
You said what?
we are discussing uh, oh,
You said what?
the- we just started a new task. What's the name now? Uh, um, Someone should bill me. We just started it, like
Support team performance. Support team
Support.
performance.
Yeah.
supporting performance.
We
Okay,
initially led a team, you know, and after, as you are leading them, you want to support.
team
So
performance.
we're
Yeah.
now saying that in your being able to support them, you need to make what they want to do clear. And then you should make how you are going to evaluate them clear. That's where the issue of KPIs and
Smart
SMART
game.
goals came in.
Okay.
So then we're now talking again of team culture and
All right.
empowerment. In projects, team is the most important part and must be unified. Empowering the team to make decisions in a timely manner increases the team's responsibility
Response.
to deliver a product or with complete ownership. Interfering with the team is disruptive and reduces motivation. Encourage the team to foster team collaboration and decision making. The team should be included in clarifying and prioritizing requirements, splitting requirements into tasks, estimating the efforts. Team structure and workplaces. As part of supporting the team, you want to also look into the structure and workplaces. An important element for leading and managing projects is the team's environment and location. Okay. Okay. Meaningful interaction is a core tenet of Agile. Of course, you need to interact very often because, of course, you are change driven. Team members need to be able to contribute from everywhere at any time. That's um, yeah, that's almost like normal thing, you know. So co-locating the team in a shared workspace fosters, yeah, in both formal and informal collaboration. Okay.
Very important. Mhm.
You said what?
I said that one is very, very important. Co-locating the team in a shared workspace.
Ah,
I've had something, some experience around that before.
okay. It's
Mm.
good now, but you can still do it, but just make the boundaries clear.
Uh, it makes it, let me just share some things about it. There are times, okay, for my experience on this, my MD's job was on the line,
Okay.
not us, MD. You understand? And
Okay.
when you have different teams, you have people in a project from different units, different departments, different divisions. So, but we are working
Okay.
together on the same project. So
Okay.
we had to create a space. It was a it in short, it was like my last project for that company. You understand? So we had to create a space, for everybody to be in the same place. It made a lot of things easier. That informal approach, that more informal and immediate collaboration is just it solves a lot of problems. So it made a
Hmm.
lot of things happen faster, sure. So that shared workspace made things happen fast. We were able to
Hmm.
deliver. It
Okay.
looked like MD was going to lose his job, but We thank God that he didn't. You know, it's something that I really like. It was fun. It was nice. Let me not delay us. Let's move on.
Okay. Okay. Let's finish this task and call it a day. Thank you very much. Team building activities are those activities that you do as a project manager together with the team with the intention of fostering togetherness and fostering what's the word? Yeah, fostering mutual understanding. So that's what we call team. Those are team building activities. There are so many
Mhm.
activities that are um, inherently how do I put it? There are so many project management activities that inherently it helps you in building a team because you cannot do it alone. For example, the WBS, you cannot do it alone. You have to involve other people. Hmm? Okay, okay, okay. Using team building activities to influence diverse individuals from many functional areas, each with their own goals, needs, and perspective to work as a cohesive team for growth. Okay. Team performance assessment. You want to assess your team. What do you look out for? Is it formal or informal? You are assessing the potential of every one of them individually on a continual basis. And then, what are those things you want to check out for assessment? Improve interaction among between team members, solve issues, deal with conflicts, improve skills and competencies to endure, improve skills and competencies to of team members, increase team cohesiveness. Okay, okay. Performance tasks. Don't forget we are supporting team members now. Performance assessment. Of course, by the time you in the name of supporting, you also want to ensure that you are getting the job done. So you are now going back to scratch to start talking as if you are starting afresh. Hmm? You will classify roles and responsibilities. When you deliver well, okay, delivering well as negative feedback, creating and monitoring individual training plans, establishing future goals. Okay, so madam, this is like an overview of what he said. Okay, okay. So team development, forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. If you have gone through stakeholder management, yes now. Madam Olubumi, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
If you have gone through stakeholder management in the videos, then you should know forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. Hmm?
No, sir. Don't know it.
Okay. Because of time, we can just read this up in the video. Hmm? Forming is when you are starting a new team. Storming, by the time you are starting a new team, just like in a relationship, at the initial part, each of them they want to be doing ego issues and then start fighting. That's storming. Then norming is at some point you get to understand one another and then you want to start doing it right. Then performing, after you have normed, then you start performing active matters of whatever you want to do. And then adjourning, once you are done, you can call off. So this is just a rough description of what effective teams are. The project manager's role to build the team and foster teamwork. Okay. Management by objective. That's an interesting one. What this is telling us essentially is that as um, as project managers, okay, having clear objective makes you more authentic. Okay, okay. Management objectives, teams with clear objectives are more productive and driven. Very correct statement. Project managers and teams should collaboratively set objectives. Once you have set the objective, they become the basis for which you want to manage the whole team. So objectives should be set early enough, of course, and at the start of the project office. Feedback is just getting something back from whoever you are working with. Performance tracking tools. These are a lot of performance tracking tools. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I can't read through every one of them. Then end value management. Madam Olushe, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you do the assignment that said you should go and read cost?
Cost. Was it the last? That was over the weekend, Abby. Was it cost over the weekend? But I did all the assignments.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, you shall know EVM now. I don't want to start explaining EVM again in class.
Yes, I remember.
What's the full meaning of EVM?
End value management.
Correct.
So it's a way of assessing the performance of a project.
Okay. Okay.
So it's data driven in that it assesses the cost that has been spent in the time that has gone and the amount of work that has been done. Those are the three major
Okay.
how do I put it? Yeah, factors of KPIs, more or less.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you mind reading this slide to us? At least let's call it the day on this point.
Okay, retrospective and lessons learned. Retrospectives are an important practice in any agile project. You gather lessons learned from the team on improvements and recognize successes. You also encourage the team to review what went well and what could have been better. So retrospectives are also about applying lessons learned to the next project. It involves everyone and respects their output, their input. It avoids the blame game and focuses on learning and growth opportunities. And the result is an improvement plan for the ensuing iteration and beyond. By this, we mean stack rank the opportunities by importance and urgency, incorporate tasks necessary to realize this improvement, then apply ideas to the team environment where appropriate. Sir?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you.
Did you hear me? I'm done reading. Yes,
yes.
Sir.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
so,
sir.
I beg, let's go and sleep. We have tried. We have even
overtried
self. So at this point, we've come to the end of that task. Madam Oluwaseyi, what's the name of the task we finished?
The one we just finished. Support team performance.
Beautiful. So Friday nights we'll start with address and remove impediments, obstacles, and blockers. Please, that Friday, be ready for a lot of goals because we are going to finish. We must finish that Friday because your mock exam is on Saturday, like I told you. Yes. So, thank you very much.
Yes, sorry, what time on Saturday? What time on Saturday?
No, we'll give you questions in the morning and you're supposed to finish it by 11:59 p.m.
Until 9 p.m.
11:59.
That's before the following morning.
Before midnight, yes.
Okay.
So, and we still have a lot to cover. But let's see what we'll do about it. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy yourself. Those who have backlogs should please.
Thank you, sir.
Those who have backlogs should please go and do their backlogs. Integration, schedule, costs, all those areas, please. go and cover up very, very well. Then the last assignment I gave us, communication and risk.
And risk.
Please, don't joke with risk management. Communication and risk management. Go and do it very, very well. At some point in the past, I asked us to go and study integration management. Those are big areas that you can overlook. Anyway, so good night, everybody. We'll see you later.
Good
Yes,
No.
sir. Good night, sir. Good night, everyone.
Yes,
night.
please, the assignment. If you come on Friday, don't come with any backlog of unwatched videos. So, kò jẹ́ bó ṣe jẹ́. Ó dàárọ̀.